All right, so let's go to the last part of the footsies. Let's talk about Whiff Punishers. This is basically how you get people to stop hitting buttons. If I'm sitting here poking at you like this all day, or space controlling, I mean, look, I'm just going to go back to the other slides, right? Pokes, weaknesses, whiff punishing, space controllers, whiff punishing. Whiff punishing basically just makes your opponent stop hitting buttons. I'm sitting here going, hee hee hee, look at me, I'm so cool. Oh my god, I touched a button and I got swept. Oops, I did the wrong thing. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. There you go, whiff punish, right? Whiff punish. Wow, it's so hard to whiff punish this move. Chun-Li, please. There you go, whiff punish, right? Whiff punishing, as I said, super, super important component of fighting games. Because if you cannot whiff punish your opponent, you are not going to stop any Chun-Li from doing this all day and you will die. Okay? And then when she has a life lead and you're trying to get in and she's hitting all these great buttons and you're like, dang it, oh god, what do I do? Oh my god, finally I'm gonna hit this button. Oh my god, she hit me. Oh, and then if you cannot whiff punish, you are not gonna be able to beat this Chun-Li who is just sitting here doing this all day. You're dead, basically. So whiff punishing becomes super important in a footsies kind of game. This is definitely a much higher level tactic. You become very good at whiff punishing when you are getting good at the game. In fact, you can largely tell when players are very good at fighting games when you see them whiff punish you. If you see someone whiff punish you, it's almost kind of an instant guarantee that this player knows what they're doing in footsies, because it's such an important concept in footsies. As I said, I fully admit this, my footsies are not great, and one of the reasons is I'm terrible at whiff punishing. And someone typed this in the chat. It is 100% true. Old man reactions. I can't blame it on my age because I've always been terrible at it. I've always had bad whiff punishing. I've always just been bad at whiff punishing. So it hurts my footsies game. It honestly does. I'm not very good at whiff punishing things. So that makes it so I get beat up on footsies a lot. That's why, as a Cammy player, I don't do well with Cammy, because I can't play the footsies properly with her. So whiff punishing is very important because it gets the opponent to stop hitting buttons. Once they stop hitting buttons, that completely opens me up to get in and hit her with my closer moves and my stubby attacks, or be able to get in a V-skill run fake like this and then start the pressure going or something. You know, getting them to stop hitting buttons is such a key thing. Again, very important component in footsies. And it really is about the discouragement factor. You're just trying to get them to stop hitting buttons. So, as I mentioned, this move has ridiculous priority here. But if I whiff punish her like this, every time she does it, she's going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't use this move anymore, it's not safe. Well, that opens me up now to poke with all these buttons, because now she's not going to out-prioritize me with that button. If you're a smart player, you get whiff punished once, you get whiff punished twice, you're like, okay, you're looking for it, so now I'll just use it occasionally every once in a while. I won't abuse it. You know, against players who aren't very good, they'll abuse something like this because they're like, you know what? I saw Alion use this move a lot in footsies, and he beat everybody with this move. So you go and play some good player, you do this move a bunch of times, and they sweep you a bunch of times, and then you're like, this button's not good at all. This button's terrible. I keep getting whiff punished. This move sucks. And you stop using it. And you've just played into their hands. They've defeated you. I have done this a million times, because I am Salty McSalterson. And so, like, whenever I get moves beat, I'm always like, God, this move is garbage. This move is so dumb. It's so useless. I'm sure you've already seen me say that a million times while playing Cammy on stream. So, again, another reason why I'm bad at footsies, I get discouraged very easily because I get salty so fast. But basically, yeah, it's the discouragement factor here. And you want to limit what buttons they use all the time. Again, beats poking and space controllers, very important thing. So how do you beat whiff punishers? Well, the thing about whiff punishers is if I'm sitting here getting ready to sweep every button that you're hitting, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing this. I am laser focused on dancing into and out of your red zones, into your mace dude zones, right? So I'm dancing right in, right out, so I can whiff punish you. Oh, geez, that didn't work. I'm trying so hard to dance right into your danger zones so that basically as soon as I do this, I can whiff punish you, right? So as soon as I see this, I can sweep you. All right, fine. Pretend, okay? Because I can't do this both with one hand there. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm so laser focused on this, I'm not hitting any buttons. And if I'm not hitting any buttons, because all I'm trying to do is whiff punish your buttons, all you have to do is start walking forward. Because what will happen is, he's so focused on staying outside of my red zone, like, pretend the tip of my standing roundhouse is a big red zone, like the mace dude, right? Pretend it's just right outside that range. So if I walk forward, he'll walk backwards out of my range, right? All right, fine. So where he walks, so basically he's, which joystick am I? Jeez, hang on, let me do it this way, because this makes a little more sense. Okay, so basically he's standing outside of my standing roundhouse range, right here, right? So what's going to happen then is I'll walk forward, and then he walks back outside of the range. So I'll walk forward again, and he's still looking to whiff punish, so he walks back out here. Keep this example in mind. I'm going to bring this up again in a little bit, but much later on. But so I walk forward again, so he walks backwards outside the range because he does not want to get hit by this kick. So I walk forward again, and he walks backwards again. Guess what I'm doing? I'm slowly walking him into the corner. And once he gets into the corner, he has no ability to walk backwards anymore. He cannot control his distance from me, so he can't whip punish me anymore. He has no control over how to avoid my attacks. So now he's in a really bad situation. You'll actually play games where you see someone like an Alex Valle or like a Justin Wong do this to people. They'll walk opponents into the corner. Snake Eyes does this a lot. They will literally walk opponents in the corner. They'll walk forward and backwards and walk forward and backwards, but they actually walk forward a total more than they walk backwards. So it's like back, forward, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, like this. And they're slowly tricking the opponent into walking themselves into the corner, and then they kill them. And this is why you hear commentators talk about, oh, he's this far from the corner, he's running out of real estate, it's all about real estate, etc., etc. This is how you beat whiff punishing. Because they're so laser focused on beating you, you can just walk them into the corner. Or, if they're so focused on this, all of a sudden, you can get in with all sorts of other things, like jumps. Like, they're so focused on whiff punishing you, they're concentrating on it, and then I jump and I get a cross-up. They're so focused on beating my ground moves, and then I jump, and they're like, oh no, what the heck happened? I completely forgot about this option, no! And then they get hit, right? So, or I can even dash forward, and I'm in his face, right? Actually, I guess I won't save it for later, because I wrote it here, fakes. Basically, so like I said, if he's trying to whiff punish me, and I'm Chun-Li here, I'll throw out fake like this. I'll throw out a stand jab. Because if I throw out a stand jab like this, he can't whiff punish me. If I throw out roundhouse, he can whiff punish me. But if I throw out the stand jab, he's not whiff punishing me. So I can bait him into a whiff punish, like so, and then counter with my own whiff punish if I have a good button for that. So if I do this, then I would walk up and whiff punish, like so. So fakes are another good one. Or another thing is if they're so laser focused on this and you fake, like I sit here and I go jab, jab, they might not notice I'm walking them back into the corner. Or I might jab like this and they go jab, and you're like, oh, don't sweep because she didn't do a whiff punishable, and then you dash forward, and in the middle of them processing don't sweep because she hit jab and not a whiff punish, you're in their face and they're like, oh my god, I'm going to get beat up. Like, how did they get here? I wasn't paying attention to this. So fakes are very important to beat whiff punishing. So doing stuff like this, and then getting in there to poke. So now you have a little bit more control over the distance because they're so focused on that. And this is where the rock, paper, scissors game of footsies come in. Everyone calls it fundamentals. It's ironic because it's like the hardest thing to learn in fighting games is fundamentals, which is footsies, which is the neutral game, which is where you're going to be spending 80% of your gameplay, is the footsies game, is this neutral game. And it's one of the hardest places to learn. And really what it comes down to is pokes, which come in the form of space controllers and actual pokes that you're trying to hit the opponent with. Whiff punishing to beat those kind of moves. And walking forward. This is the rock, paper, scissors game. I've mentioned this in a lot of previous First Attack episodes, but I'm mentioning it here because it's such an important concept that I wouldn't mind saying it every single episode that I do. Pokes beat the opponent walking forward. If they're trying to catch you for, like, so if Chun-Li is razor focused on whiff punishing me right now, and so I start walking forward, if Chun-Li just starts hitting buttons randomly, I'm going to walk into it. Or like I said, if I think she's trying to concentrate on whiff punishing me and I try to dash and she throws out a space controller, then I'm going to just dash right into his fierce punch and get hit. So again, poking beats that walking forward concept in footsies. However, if I poke a lot, then whiff punishing beats the pokes. So if I sit here and poke a lot, if I hit here and stand fierce, oh god, that's so far. If I hit stand fierce and then I get whiff punish, I'm gonna stop poking and I'm scared, right? Now, if the opponent is just sitting there trying to keep you from poking by whiff punishing you all the time, that's when you walk forward, which forces him to poke, which forces etc., etc., etc. It's the rock, paper, scissors game. Poking, whiff punishing, walking forward. The three most fundamental parts of footsies right there. Those are the three main parts of footsies. If you want to be a master at footsies, you've got to learn these things. That is the basis of those games. And if you think about it, so if you remember going back to the first lesson I did, I compared all fighting games to like the hand slapping game, to rock, paper, scissors, to all sorts of games. Well, when you play rock, paper, scissors, let me imitate what Street Fighter players tend to do when they play rock, paper, scissors, okay? They go, scissors, I lost the rock. Scissors, I lost the rock. Dang it! Scissors, I lost the rock. Why does my scissors always keep losing the rock? Fine, I'll play paper now because he keeps playing rock. And I play paper and then he plays scissors and he loses to me. I'm like, what the heck, man? Scissors is garbage. And okay, fine, his rock is so good, so I'm going to do rock. And then they do paper and then they beat your rock. And you're like, Mike, dude, what? His rock was always so good. Why is my rock so bad? Like, his rock is totally cheap compared to my rock. My rock sucks, right? I mean, that's how people are playing fighting games most of the time when you play. But when you actually play RPS, you're like, okay, I'm going to play rock, but I can't play it too many times in a row. I got to switch to scissors. But he might think that I want to switch to scissors, so this is how you play rock, paper, scissors, right? That's how you're supposed to play footsies. I'm going to play walk forward. Okay, he saw me walk forward. I'm going to stop. I'm going to start poking now. Now I baited him into this, so I'm going to whiff punish. Now that he's scared, I'm going to walk forward. Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep walking forward because he's really focused on that. Now I'm going to poke because I've gotten into range. But now he might try to poke back, so I'm going to walk out of his range and whiff punish him all of a sudden, etc., etc. So there you go, right there. That is how you're supposed to play footsies. That is the essence of footsies right there. And it is those three elements right here. And those normals, the buttons that you are trying to find, are the pokes, which are good. Like Ken's standing medium punch is going to be one of his best pokes. It's not particularly far range, but you'll still see a lot of Kens use this move because it's still a decently far ranged move. Standing roundhouse is decent. Poke here as well. Find your pokes. Find your space controllers. So for Ken, for example, maybe back medium punch is a decent space controller. Crouch medium punch, decent one. Stand fierce, like I said, can be okay. But again, space controlling is kind of a luxury. If you notice, space controller is not necessarily a fundamental part of footsies. Space controllers kind of is a sub-poke category. But it's a luxury. And Chun-Li really has a lot of that luxury there, right? But space controllers, you're going to try to look for those. And you want to find your best whiff punishers. So what makes a good whiff punish? Range. Range, 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 range. Everything about whiff punishing needs to be range. Because you need to be outside of your opponent's buttons and still be able to hit him. So if I try to whiff punish, for example, with crouching medium punch. Whoops. Oh, wow, that worked. Check me out. Oh, that's just beating it. That's just beating it. So let's just do stand fierce instead. Oh, okay, this actually works too. But range is generally more important. So let's try Chun-Li stand medium kick here. Oh, wow. Check this out. Okay. Well, there you go. Ken's crouching medium punch is actually a pretty decent whiff punisher because it actually has better range than I thought it did. But for the most part, you might not be in perfect range. So one of the things about people walking back and forth like this is you can never be in the range that you really, really want to be. So if she whiffs a standing roundhouse at this range, you know, maybe low strong is the best whiff punisher. Go figure. I don't know Ken well enough yet, so there you go. But for Chun-Li, like her standing fierce is going to be a decent whiff punch. Her standing forward is going to be a decent whiff punish. In fact, this might be her best whiff punish, or her towards medium punch is a great whiff punish. I mean, check out this range on this thing. Whiff punish is really all about range. Range. Okay, so whiff punishing, in other words, I'm not going to be whiff punishing with this move too often. If Ken misses from this far away, I'm not whiff punishing. Range is very important. Speed is a factor, because if I have a super far range move like this, for example, I'm not necessarily going to whiff punish this. See, you can see it takes a long time to come out. And so I can't whiff punish it properly. But if I try to go for that crouching strong, which is much faster, that same reaction timing will give me the whiff punish. So there you go. Speed is an important factor. Safety? No. Safety is not a factor in this move. Like I said, sweeps really are very laggy. On block, they're super unsafe. Most of them are minus 12. That's about where all sweeps kind of land. So they're punishable by everything under the sun. But the thing about it is, if you're whiff punishing, you have no intention of not hitting them. In fact, you don't even have an intention of having them block it. Your whiff punish is designed to hit them. So safety is not a factor at all. So you don't care if it takes forever for this move to recover, because for all intents and purposes, you're hitting them, right? Priority, again, you don't care because you don't need to beat their moves as an interaction. You're beating them as they whiff, right? Strength, it's nice to have damaging whiff punishes. Honestly, if I hit you with this whiff punish more often than I hit you with this whiff punish, it's going to make you think about it a little bit more. Combo ability is interesting because combo ability can be pretty decently important. Because, for example, Chun-Li here, I can whiff punish you with this button, but this button cannot be canceled into any special moves. So I can't do anything into a lightning kick, right? Cammy was a good example. In fact, I wish I still had Cammy here. Cammy's low forward turns out to be a great whiff punisher because it reaches so far, it pokes so far, and then it's comboable into cannon drill, right? So since I can combo into cannon drill, my low sweep has terrible range with Cammy. Cammy's low sweep is one of the shortest range sweeps in the game. But it doesn't matter because her low forward reaches so far, and every time it hits, I combo into a cannon drill. So having combo ability is nice, and it's very, very useful for some characters. It is not a necessity, though. So if you are Chun-Li and you're a whiff punishing with standing forward all day, or towards strong, and you're not getting combos, not a big deal. But if you can get a combo off of it, like if Ryu dances outside of the range, then walks up into stand light kick in the short hurricane, and that's his whiff punish, ooh, that's even better. That's icing on the cake, right? Block level, you don't care again because blocking is not a factor in whiff punishing. You're hitting them. You are hitting them. That's how you have to treat whiff punishing. Resulting state. Resulting state is not crucial because obviously if I hit you and you're still standing, whatever, that's fine. But if you remember, one of the things I mentioned was the discouragement factor. One of the best ways to get people to stop poking with good buttons is to discourage them. And if the discouragement is standing medium kick, that's one thing, right? If the discouragement is sweep, like this, and I get a knockdown, oops, wrong move, I get a sweep, and then I get pressure on you, holy crap, that's going to be even more discouraging. Now I do not want to get whiff punished, because now I get knocked down, and this is why sweeps turn out to be like the best whiff punishing moves, because most of the time you sweep them, you get pressure. I can sweep you, whiff punish you, and then, like this, whiff punish, take a step, jump, and now I got you dealing with a cross-up. And then it can be very, very painful to have to deal with that. And I didn't combo that all. There we go. So it can be really, really painful to get whiff punished by that. The Cammy example I gave, low forward drill. One of the reasons why that's like the best whiff punish in the game is because a low forward reaches far, it's a low hit, it's cancelable into drill, which knocks you down and leaves her right next to you, and life just gets miserable at that point because that's all Cammy wants to do is get right in your face. So resulting state is actually super, super important.